Welcome back to jail. Devils don't exist. Arc 1. The Fall of Grey Haze.
As we step out of the corridor, I turn to May and I say, "Don't behold it. It is not our place to pursue this punishment. Keep your eye on the goal. I'll join you in a moment."
She nods. Around or across?
You go around.
Thank you. She nods and very swiftly, just you hear as she speed walks around the periphery under this stone canopy protecting you from the rocks below. What does Neph do?
Neph strides meaningfully into the center, facing parallel to the bugbear. She unbuttons two cuffs on her sleeves and lets the longer sleeves fall to covering both her hands as she clasps them together underneath, gets to her knees, places her head on her covered hands and whispers, "This will end. Thank you."
Amazing. A couple of details for you as you move through this. You step out into the space. Immediately, the light pattering of stones, almost like a lazy hail, ceases. Above you, again, this corridor is another circular one, but the walls on this one, as opposed to the previous, are much higher, deliberately so as to block out any meaning of sunlight. And you can technically see the sky up there, though you know that it is left open to the elements, to be left open to the elements. Not to grant an idea that you might one day be free and journey through that sky, but to allow rain down onto this figure to further punish them. To instead give the idea, especially as the walls curve slightly inward as they go up higher, to give the impression that even the sky itself is watching the figure on the Gaius Tree. All the windows that surround those curving tall, gargantuan walls, all of those windows are barred with iron to prevent anything from getting in or out, though the bars are notably projecting slightly out on these sides of the walls and are black on the interior. No candlelight, no daylight, nothing avails through those places, through those spaces, so as to prevent this figure from ever being able to see anything at all. Not that that would be relevant, because as this bugbear's figure, their head twitches in your direction as you move towards them. Beneath a shaggy mane of brown hair, you see that their eyelids have been sewn, not just shut, but probably to their cheekbones, shut with golden thread to hold it there. And you hear sniffing. What was it? Sorry, that Neph said again, if you wouldn't mind.
She said, "This will end. Thank you."
Please. Some water. I beg of you. Please, a drink.
And sure enough, on a bench near the tree, you see two objects. You see a knife, ceremonial, brilliant, gleaming silver knife, and next to it a bowl with maybe a mouthful of water in it. A plain wooden bowl.
She walks over and picks up both and considers them for a long time. Longer than she knows she can spend on it. She puts the knife down and repeats one of the tenets of the clarity. aid those who stray from its light, so that they might see its vision again. And she gingerly goes over and attempts to.
It's the moment that the bowl kind of makes contact with this creature's lower lip that it suddenly, its head like snaps around and like just opens its jaw for you to literally tip the water into its open mouth.
I do so.
Water drips into this guy's mouth. He guzzles it down quickly. You hear loud, heavy swallowing. This guy's neck is probably the size of your two forearms put together. He is humongous. And for him, it is barely a thimble of water, but he drinks it down greedily, and you watch as a bead of water, a single bit misspent, moves down his chin and threatens to bead off the end.
I grab it with a thumb and wipe it against his brow to alleviate some of the heat.
Yeah. He is hot to the touch as your thumb moves across his brow. Some kind of fever or delirium setting in here in this moment, or just a heat building up in the mind. And it pants bodily.
Thank you. I was not sure that I was to last much. You were always my trusted, my beloved Saint Nephilim.
Do I know this person?
Give me a history check.
Ah, shit. 13.
There are many bugbears within your order. Admittedly, not as massive as this one. I think this guy is probably 2 to 3 times the size of a normal bugbear. A part of you wonders on that history check whether there's some element of giant in his lineage somewhere. But you look at him and do not recognize him.
She's torn between a lie of comfort and a truth that is holy. I'm so sorry, Pilgrim. I do not know your name. Please bestow it upon me.
Give me an insight check.
That's cocked, even though it's good. Shit! 3. Well, no. 9.
You look at this figure. An expression crosses their face that you cannot place, other than knowing that it is a kind of terrible pain. But maybe it is only the physical pain. Still, you do not know what that expression could mean in this moment. As this figure's head sinks slightly and they go,
I would not have you know my name. Here, now, in this way. Go forth, Saint. Your path will lead you elsewhere. I shall remain here upon my tree and wait for your return. Perhaps then.
I like that train to go past. Totally immersion breaking.
Perhaps then you shall know my name. But know that I will keep this charity in my heart so long as it yet beats.
life or in the beholding, it will be an honor to learn
In this life, or the beholding, in this life.
And he just keeps repeating again and again.
In this life.
A knot of confusion tying itself into his brow.
I cut across and I pick up the knife as I go. And take it with me.
Wonderful. Ooh. I think I've got to be a bit of a dick here to you.
They can find another knife.
They can find another knife.
She's literally a saint.
Yeah. It's mine now.
She can take a knife if she wants to.
I think I'm gonna have to ask you for some kind of check to see. I want to actually. Yeah, no. This is more interesting. In the taking of this knife, are you making something known to those who could witness you,
I stare
or
at
are
what
you?
I know is on the other side of the glass and I pick up the knife.
Amazing. Give me an intimidation check.
And I will cast guidance, holding a holy relic. Where'd you go? Out the box.
Not out the box.
It doesn't count if you roll out the box.
It does because it's good.
Oh.
Hey, the only thing separating the box and the floor is
Well,
The
that would
box,
have
the
felt.
side of the box.
That would have felt.
17, 18, 19, 20. 21. Wait, that's not right. No, it is. Yeah, basic maths.
Sometimes that's the hardest kind.
Intelligence -1.
Sorry, what was your intelligence? Your intimidation check there. Sorry.
21.
21 is good. We'll
Well,
see
what is
if it
21?
beats out
I
on this charisma save, which is admittedly not as high as I thought it
That's
would
like a
be.
contested roll, isn't it?
Okay. I fear.
Okay. You may add the first bit of loot in our campaign. I was not expecting this to be an item that someone would take with them.
Ah, shit.
But we will work with
Treasure!
it. You can add a silver dagger to your inventory.
I sure hope it
Okey-dokey.
isn't cursed.
What do you mean?
All the best silver daggers are cursed.
That's true.
So it is a clarity ceremonial dagger. It doesn't give any like pluses or like plus ones or anything.
Uh-huh.
But because it is made of like holy ordained silver, it would act as a silvered weapon.
Oh, okay.
Werewolves better watch out.
Werewolves that I know are everywhere in this campaign.
Maybe.
Who's to say?
We know we have vampires. They probably should watch out as well.
You know,
Oh,
that's
true.
always the thing. There was like vampires and werewolves, and I'm like, how did these two guys get associated? How did these two guys get paired up?
Forbidden Yuri, obviously.
Exactly.
Yuri. Wonderful. Okay. You cross the rest of this courtyard, dagger in tow. Truly an absolutely inspiring. Sorry, what? Huh? No, go on.
You said dagger.
Say it louder.
You said dagger in toe, so I said, ow, my toe.
You wretch. Wonderful. With dagger in hand,
Ow, my hand.
holding a dagger, you cross the try me now. You cross the remainder of the courtyard, leaving behind the bugbear in the tree.
Yes.
Silence prevails in that courtyard now, and you do not see any stones drop down onto the Gaius Tree, even as you cross back into the threshold of safety. Where Crusader Mage stands for you next to a small stone archway that on the other side leads to a set of spiral stone stairs that spiral upwards.
I place a hand on her shoulder as she's facing away from me. I say, pray on what you heard. And I walk ahead of her up the stairs.
You walk ahead of her up the stairs. We leave Crusader May and Saint Nephilim, now beyond the court of the Gaius Tree. firmly in the secretive passageways of the Tower of Lashes, ascending a dark spiral staircase of thick stone slabs and bricks, lit only by torch-mounted braziers. And as you pass up and through these winding shadows, it's sort of a spiral staircase big enough for, single file line of people to move up one after another. So you are behind May in this moment. And as you take one corner, cut through the shadow, the camera emerges out of the darkness into an entirely different kind of spiral staircase. The staircase we saw Neph in was one of secrecy, one of practicality, to allow whoever wanders through these hidden tunnels within the Oculum Sanctorum and the Tower of Lashes to go unseen by any who they would not wish to be seen by, bordering, honestly, on an act of some kind of sacrilege. In this way, then, the Tower of Talangol is nothing but entirely the opposite. The entire interior of this wizard's tower is completely empty. Gigantic Adronacs beat their wings and move up or down, carrying with them great building materials like lumps of marble and stone or wood, or just hauls of magically enchanted items, or even several groups of Tamoris on their backs as they move up and down like an exceptionally elaborate series of elevators. There is a spiral staircase within the tower, but it borders the entirety of the walls of this vast chute and slowly spirals all the way around. There are no partitions, there are no walls, there are not even rooms. Truly, this tower in its entirety is for show. And
Minimalist king.
He's a bit of a minimalist king, except you could describe it as minimalist if it was just a square chute of nothing, but the sheer fact that an Adronac comes down carrying the most elaborate chandelier you've ever seen. It's it's less minimalism and more maximalism on the outside, nothing on the inside.
It's like the very first Animal Crossing house that you make.
Yeah.
Where you just put all your furniture items around the border of the room.
I'm picturing
rather
Minecraft mega builds where the interior is nothing dark, is completely dark except for torches, and just has a spiral staircase working its way up.
Asymmetrical torches too.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's pure practical in here as opposed to the outside. But you begin ascending this long, winding, singular slope of staircases that you could only wonder how terrible it would be to fall down this stair. Because there are not landings, you would just keep rolling until you either built up enough inertia that you died, or that you would slowly do enough damage to yourself that you would come to a stop.
Is there
somewhere
a
around.
handrail?
There is a handrail, I will grant you that. There is a small stone parapet that accompanies the spiral up. I don't think Ed is quite that suicidal as to be I'll just step off into the abyss.
OSHA violation.
This stair is definitely not up to code. He begins leading you up, and in that ranting, rambling sort of way, it is you stalking behind him, his eternal guardian, as he moves up this spiral stairs and goes, "So, let's, oh goodness me, there's a train, isn't there?"
What's a train?
Right, yes, goodness me, so much to fill you in on, I'm so glad that you're doing well. You will need to get, clean. You smell like the inside of a long dead chicken, and it is frankly disgusting, dear. Get that sorted when you can.
Of course. I apologise.
You are forgiven. Moving on, however, good news! Good news! The war is over! The strife of spires has come to a petering, dwindling, sort of a tired conclusion.
That's excellent.
Yes, excellent. They are in the town of Greyhaze, currently organising a sort of, I suppose you'd call it an armistice, peace talks, sort of a deal where, the rostrum and the clarity are sort of basically hashing things out.
So did we win?
Ooh, that's such an interesting idea. Did we win? I think we won.
Good.
Yes.
So we won.
Oh, and he puts a hand down, grabs your hand, and is like, goodness me, Glaive. I am gonna miss having you around. You're fantastic. Yes, we won. We won the strife of spires, the clarity. Those God-fearing little eye weirdos are absolutely annihilated. I mean, with a rostrum arcadics.
Of course.
But there is a problem. Because we have won and have come out on top and are the winners of war, because that is something you can do, we have a problem now in the rostrum arcadics.
With the necromancers.
Not just the necromancers. No, Ligaria, out of all of the wizards who make up the rostrum arcadics, all of us as it were, she is the weakest. I mean, you know the state of things in Hithband. Who would have thought that, tying your consciousness to an entire army of undead abominations could ever go wrong? Try to explain that to her, that all she needed to do was lose concentration once, and the entire thing turns in on itself, doesn't it? Not like you and the other Tomori, you're perfectly self-sufficient. You look after yourselves. No, she is just clearly, in attacking you, trying to capitalize upon what all of us have now figured out. Yes, the strife of spires is over. Yes, we have won the war against the clarity, but there will be another war. And another, and another. But this one will not be fought externally with any of the rostrum's enemies, but will be waged internally between the different wizards. These mage assassins that you encountered on your journey to Gaol are likely but the first of many attempts on your life to come, on my life to come. Ligaria is simply playing her hand, and playing it poorly, I would add. She has moved her pawn to C1 or whatever you do when you're playing chess. Point being, it has already begun. The machinations, the internal squabbling, it will evolve into another war. And we need to be ready.
We need to win.
And a big smile spreads across his face. We need to win. If one school of wizardry, if one wizard stands amidst the ashes at the end of this new civil war, it will be the wizard Edrad, and it will be the School of Conjuration.
Of course.
I will not to have everything taken away from me by my own friends.
They are not your friends.
Not anymore. Oh, goodness, Glaive, you're a treat to talk to. So, yes, we need to prepare. Because the other wizards are already making their moves. I have no doubt that the moment that these peace talks are done with, that the clarity is satisfied with whatever reparations they receive, that then the wizards will turn on each other. And we are the most powerful of the wizarding schools here in Balgard.
Of course.
I have no doubt that Ligaria and her little friends will team up with each other and come for us.
Is the plan then to, if you are to be the last wizard standing,
Yes.
is the plan to make allies for the time being that we shall then turn on, or is it to immediately stand on our own?
Oh, goodness, no. We don't need allies. Well, I've got you. We've got the... We are perfectly
I understand.
self-sufficient here in
And I
Telangol.
know that you are the most powerful wizard by
Of course.
far.
Yes.
But are you the most powerful wizard if it is just you against all of the others?
Give me a persuasion check.
Read and fulfill.
And I'll say with disadvantage.
yeah. So let's see. Okay, so I rolled an 8, so that's a 5.
That's a
Jesus.
5.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that you've got... Sorry, what is your...
it's Glaive's charisma score is a 4,
Oof.
so she has a -3.
She's sentient.
She's sentient, maybe.
And maybe
We
Barely.
about
We
that.
think.
Barely.
That is a 16. I think Edrad looks at you and just goes, "What?"
I simply, in some of the strategy that I've studied in my short time,
Yes.
I would maybe think there is a logic to making allies at the start that then when they have served their purpose we can then turn on, rather than having everyone come for us at once. I see that this may not be the advisable course, and I apologize.
He stares you down, suddenly very self-serious. The fun, whimsical, sort of flowing movement that he so routinely occupies vanishing in a moment as he just glares at you and goes, "Where did you read this?"
One of the libraries somewhere.
Right, one of the libraries somewhere.
I could probably find the tome for you.
No, I will send someone else to find that particular tome. Thank you, Glaive. Your job is not to, question, I'm afraid, dear. It's to do. And what I need you to do is exactly what I tell you to. Is that understood?
Understood.
Marvelous.
I apologize.
Yes, no, don't let it happen again. You raise an interesting point, Glaive, that we could do with allies. However, we do not need allies if we are more powerful than the other wizards, and that is simple as. I will not make friends with someone who is just going to stab me in the back. Like you said, they are not our friends anymore. They are not our allies. We cannot trust the other wizards in the Rostrum Arcadex.
No.
No.
We
Exactly.
will win.
We will win. And how will we win, I hear? Not by making friends, but by...
Defeating them on our own individual power.
Exactly. Yes, we will stand alone and triumph against them. And in order to do that, I need you to go to Grey Haze.
This is where the negotiations...
Yes. Various representatives from the different, some of the different representatives from the rostrum will be attending in Grey Haze, and I understand as well that we will also be entertaining some of the saints from the Clarity in that little town, as it were. Whilst the peace talks in establishing the end of the strife of spies is very important, I have a different task for you.
What is it?
Power. Spellcraft. There is a spell hidden within that town that could very well change the entire outcome of the Rostrum's little civil war. And if we get our hands on it, I believe that not only will it open up the secrets of the essence and nature of what Tamori are, but I also believe that it will allow us to win this conflict and come out on top. As we bloody well deserve.
We do.
Yes, we do. He is at the top of the stairs now, and again, another pair of massive stone headless guardians slide the doors open for him without him even like acknowledging them as he just steps through, and you find yourself in an illustrious viewing platform, the top center of his room, the very point of the wizard's tower. Open archways filled with magically enchanted glass planes look out in each of the cardinal directions across all of Telangol, across the oceans, the cliff faces, across the rolling farms and green hills and forests, and even very distantly through the northern window. You can see a black shadow dwelling on the horizon. Dark shapes moving in the clouds and flashes of necrotic green lightning. Distant heathband. The realm and domain of the wizard Lagaria. He steps into the chamber, and it is a cluttered, crazy mess in here. Because everything, it's the kind of thing where he thought about the idea to have a window facing in every cardinal direction, and then realized that would mean that there would be no walls on the chamber, and so there are an overwhelming amount of tables everywhere rather than bookshelves, because the bookshelves would block the natural daylight. So there's tables spread out everywhere, chairs all around them, chaiselongs kind of like leaning out everywhere, and over everything there are scrolls, maps, magical items. You see a literal staff of the Magi just propped up with a like coat hung over it as if it means nothing. You see several runes on different tables. It is like he's taken several different offices and just has haphazardly started spreading them out everywhere. There's lots of different chairs for him to sit in. It's completely cluttered and messy. There isn't even a chandelier hanging in this room as there are in the other ones. Instead, candles of arcane light drift about constantly overhead in a perpetual dance between the different, like, you know, portions and stages of the different kinds of office that he has here. There's like a very messy, all of them are very messy, but there's one for like magic items, one for scrolls, one with several books laid out over the top of it, one that looks like it's an office that is a bedroom because there's just like a chaise longue with like mattresses and pillows thrown over the top of it. It is absolute chaos in here. There is no sense of organization. And as you step over the floor, you have to be careful watching the ground as you see there are runes etched in chalk or blood on the floor all around you. It's just a fucking mess in here, to be frank. But stood in the middle of this chamber, in the eye of the storm, you see two figures. You see a young satyr man and a human woman. Would you like to please describe the two individuals who will join your retinue? Although this is, bear in mind, the first time that Glaive is meeting them.
Yeah. Should I name drop them, or do we want to? So first is the satyr Spindle, who is a mage of the Court of Conjuration. He is quite a young looking guy. He's got this sort of like dirty blonde curly hair, a tiny little bit of scruff on his chin that probably, it's very much giving like teenage boy's first facial hair that doesn't look good, but he's so proud that he grew it that it's staying. He's got these like brilliant kind of blue eyes that have the little like horizontal goat pupil to them. He's got these curling ram's horns that probably have little wisps of hair that sort of like have gotten caught up in them from his little mane that he's got going on. He's wearing very prim and proper like mage's attire, this little like tabard and robes and everything, but rather than wearing like the full trouser and boot uniform that a lot of them wear, his trousers get kind of cut off at the knee, and he's got these little goat hooves that the fur matching his hair that kind of sprout out at the bottom of him. Yes, that's him. And then Astrid is a human woman who doesn't look like she really cares too much to be there right now. She's quite pale skin with really dark hair that's kind of cropped just above her shoulders. She's kind of muscular. What's the word?
Muscular?
Muscular. I don't know why. I was trying to say musculature, and I was like, that's not the one.
You can just say muscular.
Muscular, in that way that looks like she's not trained to do it, but she's probably been working for most of her life, so has just naturally built up a pretty solid baseline level of strength. She's not dressed in the uniforms of the mages or anything to do with the Court of Conjuration. She's dressed in just these pretty plain black robes, I think trimmed with a little bit of like red to them.
Bro. Okay. You see these two figures, the calm in the eye of the storm here, and immediately as Edrad steps into the space, they stand to attention. Even Astrid, who is someone who prides herself on her disinterest, knows when to at least pretend to pay attention in order to make a good impression on someone, especially someone as important as the Wizard of Conjuration itself. In this moment, can I actually have you make an Arcana check with me with advantage, please?
Well, I rolled the same on both dice, so that is an 18.
On an 18. A quick lowdown then, as you take in this site. You would recognise, we'll work our way from the top down. Edrad is the Wizard of Conjuration. There are a set number of wizards in the world of Gaol following an event known as the Parthanderic Crisis, in which the wizards were asked to make themselves known, catalogue their existence, and present themselves to Old King Ig, the former ruling monarch, in order to document basically magic itself. And the Rostrum Arcadex was formed to begin enacting this documentation of magic, and they did so by killing every wizard that did not get along with them. This left one wizard for each of the schools of magecraft left around. And so the highest rank you can be now in the world of Gaol as a wizard, or at the very least in Balgard, would be the rank of wizard itself. It is the highest platform you can ascend to in the scope of studying magic, is just to be the wizard of the school. Beneath a wizard would be the wizard's apprentice, someone who is technically a learned wizard and knows spellcraft and can cast it, but is not as powerful as the wizards themselves. This would still be an incredibly powerful and competent spellcaster. You're looking at the difference here between like a level 20 wizard and maybe a level 10 or 12 wizard. Mm-hmm. Beneath that then is the Archmage. The Archmage is someone who is not allowed to learn wizardry, but is given magical items to basically like ape wizardcraft. So they cannot cast magic missile, but they are given a wand of magic missile and told that they are an archmage. So they are, most archmages are totally mundane people. There is no wizard's apprentice in this space here with you, and there is no archmage. Looking at the figure before you, Spindle is dressed in the uniform of a standard mage aspirant. You can imagine probably just by being here, Spindle is probably quite a proficient mage in order to be granted this kind of attendance here in this kind of audience here in this space. But then there is a rank beneath mage within the new organization of how magic works in the world of Gaol, and that would be a focus. A focus is someone who exists purely to serve at the behest of mages and archmages. It's very rare that a focus will ever be in a room with certainly the apprentice wizard, let alone the actual wizard themselves. And they usually wear quite standard clothes, no formal fitting attire, and basically perform the role of servitude. If material components are required, they would go and fetch them. They would otherwise keep a mage's quarters neat and tidy, and make sure that mage or archmage is well fed. So what you're seeing here is the focus Astrid and the Mage Spindle, these two fairly low-ranking people to be in this room. And as you see these two figures, immediately Edrad sweeps into the room and goes, right, so, introductions. Glaive, this is the Mage Spindle and his focus. Mage Spindle, this is Glaive. You will be accompanying her to Grey Haze. And you see Spindle nods and kind of like really pushes up his chest, puts his little scruffy beard that he's so proud of, and goes, yes, your wizardliness. I won't let you down. I will keep very good care of her, and I will make sure that I report back all of my findings to you. And he goes, wonderful stuff, amazing. And he puts his hands on either one of Spindle's shoulders, which gives him a good shake. He goes, I have the utmost faith in you that you will not let anything go wrong. And you see Spindle goes, absolutely. I'm just, it's such a privilege to even be in your presence, Wizard of Conjuration, and I won't let you down. And you just see Edward nods, goes, yep, that's quite all right. We don't need to be doing this. I don't know. Glaive, can you step in? I don't know what he's doing with his face. And you see he's going, like he's taking in deep breaths, so you can see tears welling in his eyes.
Glaive, there's like a little flash of confusion across Glaive's face as she doesn't understand the task that she's just been given, but knows that she has to do something because she has to do anything this wizard says. Mm-hmm. So I think reaches, like, steps in and just awkwardly sort of like puts her hands to either side of Spindle's face and sort of like does like do a job of wiping tears away, but in like a very like, my hands are going directly over your eyelids and I'm just kind of trying to get rid of whatever was going on here.
Wonderful. Okay, so what I want you to do is, oh my goodness. Okay, good, we're in the silly turns now. Cool. So you walk up to him with your hands outstretched, thumbs going for the eyes. Amazing. So what I need you to do is roll me a persuasion check.
Are you sure?
With disadvantage.
Are you sure?
If you fail on this check, he will have the frightened condition in regards to you for the proceeding.
Okay, let's see.
Just roll 2 20s.
That's so easy.
Yeah.
I rolled 2 1s earlier, so let's see.
Equal chance.
Hey man, that's not bad. It's an 11.
Wonderful. You put your hands on either side of his head, over his ears and horns, and move your thumbs into his sockets to start wiping his tears, and he goes, oh no! And just starts screaming and drops onto the floor. Goes, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. And he's now, you still probably got your hands in the air over where he was. He's now crouching on the floor and is wiping the tears away from his eyes and goes, get it together, Spindle, get it together, and just slaps himself hard across the face. And Edward just looks at you and just goes,
what is wrong with him?
I'm not sure. He came very highly recommended. And looks over to the Focus, who this woman just kind of like nods and puts a hand on Spindle's shoulder and goes, hear a whisper for a moment, and then looks at him and goes, I must apologise. The Mage Spindle has had a trying day today. He is very talented, and once he has recomposed himself, I am certain that he will be ready to fulfill his purpose, wizard. And you see the wizard nods and goes, right, well, we'll let him sort himself out. Glaive, over here. And he just leaves this man who's still weeping on the floor and moves over to a table.
I think Glaive can't like stop looking at this. I don't think Glaive's ever seen anyone cry before.
Yeah.
So I think Glaive is just a bit sort of vaguely concerned of like, what's wrong with him? What's going on? Doesn't understand from just a fundamental level what's going on, but then does terror gaze away and follows after her father.
Edhrad moves to one of the longest tables, casts some kind of like thaumaturgic spell, and blows what looks like several documents and ancient tomes that would no doubt go for several thousands of gold pieces in a magic shop, just blows them away with a gust of wind and sends them like falling across the floor, leaving only a single like stone disc in the middle of the table that is decorated with a series of amethyst-like crystals. He steps up to this stone disc, waves a hand over it, and a flickering projection appears before you. That begins to like slowly pan around. It's basically a view from above, a kind of two-dimensional image map of what looks to be some kind of mountainside town. You see it separated out into probably about 5 districts, high walls, forests all around, and split directly down the center by a fast-flowing river. It's not super detailed, so you don't see like figures moving about on it, but you do see the blocks of buildings and all this sort of stuff. He moves over and goes, "Now, Glaive, I understand you've been doing some reading. How familiar are you with the town of Greyhaze?"
Well, how familiar am I?
Give me a history check.
That's pretty good. I'm pretty good at history. 22.
Amazing. You would recall that Greyhaze is... Actually, I'm 22. You know a lot about this town. The number one thing that you know is the thing that almost everyone knows. The man who overthrew old King Ig, his bastard son, the Regent Lord Gallo Ig's son, died in this town several years ago, probably just over a decade ago. It was his death that started and spurred on the Strife of Spires, which is the war that the Rostrum Arcadex, effectively the wizards, and the Clarity, effectively the clerics, have been fighting these past 14, 15 years. This is where it started in this town.
I think Glaive stands to attention a little bit and he's just like, Greyhaze was the site in which Gallo Igson died and this whole war started, so I suppose it makes a lot of sense that any sort of talks would happen here. Seems quite cyclical.
Spot on. 100 marks. To you, Glaive. Splendid work there. Splendid work. Yes, the town of Greyhaze, the last resting place, as it were, of Regent Lord Gallowix and the start of all this terrible conflict. On your history check, in addition to that, you just for getting over a 20, you know that Greyhaze is neutral as well. Despite being the start point of the war, it has managed to retain its neutrality. So is not owned by the Rostrum Arcadex or the Clarity. It is independently governed by its mayor. You know that the region is famous for the fact that it never ceases to rain, and it rains constantly. I think you probably read somewhere in one of the many libraries of the Wizard that it is due to some kind of elemental disturbance, that there is some weakness in the barrier between this realm and the elemental plane of water that means that just a constant barrage of rain falls on this region. And for getting over 20 as well, one last thing, you would know that the main exports of this town used to be tourism for a start, although all tourism has stopped during the Strife of Spire because people are attracted to come and see like the rain that never stops, but no one's come back since the war has started. So it's had to rely on its other major export, which is stone. In fact, particularly it does a lot of quarrying and mining from a local series of mountains known as the Spine, and it actually quarries a collection of red rocks there, identified like red granite and red marble that it's able to mine from the neighbouring mountains to the west. So that's its major exports there.
Cool.
As well as water. It bottles and sells the water that rains from the sky and says that it's magic water, and again tries to sell that. Though the magic water has not been as popular in recent years as the stone, because there is much rebuilding that is taking place in the land of Balgard at present.
Is the water as magical as they claim.
Oh, who gives a shit about magic water?
My apologies.
No, it's raw, untempered, elemental nonsense. Leave elemental to the evokers and evocation wizards and whatnot. They can fart about with that. No, we're interested in something else. And he takes the map and zooms into a western portion of the town, penned in by the wall, close to the river. You see an entire swath of the town that he kind of focuses in on and goes, this district of the town is known as Red Rock.
After the rock.
After the... My goodness, did you know that I was going to send you on this mission beforehand?
No, I just simply read. I think I found a brochure.
Yes, they used to be very good for tourism and that sort of...
Yes.
Marvelous. Amazing the things you're choosing to read. Anyway, yes. This portion of the town is called Red Rock. Now, what I'm willing to bet you don't know is what you can find in Red Rock.
Is it a spell?
Yes, it's a spell. Rumor has it that the Nerennial had a hideout somewhere in Red Rock, a safe house full of a variety of powerful magical artifacts. One such artifact was a spell undocumented by the Rostrum Arcadex during the Hearthandric crisis, a spell kept secret by the Nerennial. Give me a quick history check.
That's a 13.
13. The name Nerennial is familiar to you. What you would know is that a group of, from your perspective, a group of wayward Tamori were led astray by this organization called the Nerennial, or perhaps that the Nerennial itself was a group of forgotten about Tamori who rebelled against the king. But back during old King Ig's reign, the Nerennial united in Amygdalin and blew up the Black Palace and killed old King Ig's son. It was the death of Prince Hearthandric II that launched the Hearthandric crisis and has led to the formation of the Rostrum Arcadex as it now exists. The Nerennial were, as far as you're aware, completely wiped out, but they are effectively an organization of, you would probably call them terrorist Tamori who tried to destroy the old monarchy.
How long ago was that?
Oh, goodness me, that was quite some time ago. Let me check my notes. So the current year is... Yeah, the current year is 1648, and the Hearthandric crisis started in 1344. So quite some time ago, and literally 1344 was the year that the Black Palace was destroyed by the Nerennial, and the Nerennial was all but annihilated in 1352. So that's how long the Hearthandric crisis basically lasted, as the wizards of the Rostrum Arcadex, pressed by old King Ig, went around and killed every wizard that wouldn't join the Arcadex, including the Nerennial, who were wizards and Tamoris.
I think Glaive frowned slightly and just sort of... And you suspect that this spell will have remained here after all those years?
In secret, yes. Perhaps it wasn't initially stored here, but my sources indicate that the last place that it could be traced to across the myriad networks of travel that the Nerennial had access to back during the crisis, here, in Grey Haze.
What form does this spell take? Is it a scroll? Is it a Tamori? Is it...
Very wise question. Yes, it should, in theory, take the form of a scroll.
Understood.
Yes.
Will
It is a conjuration scroll, so you should be able to identify it in that way.
Of course.
And it is from It is not from a school of magic that is unknown to us, because all schools of magic are known to the Rostrum Arcadex. However, in addition to schools, there are arcane traditions, ways of using said schools to elicit different effects. So it is a conjuration spell, but it is rumoured that it comes from the lost arcane tradition of Nethermancy.
I have not heard of this.
It is... Nethermancy was a arcane tradition of the old Balgardian dynasties, before even old King Ig's time. And from what little writings I could gather about Nethermancy, it appeared to be a means with which one could shape the cosmic forces between the stars.
Is that spelled never as in never gonna happen, or never as in Minecraft?
Never as in Minecraft.
Thank you.
It is an arcane tradition that, as far as we understand, is not practiced in the modern age. But if this spell is so powerful as to warrant such protection from the Nerennial in their attempts to hide it, this arcane tradition could prove to be the turning point for us. It is old conjuration magic, and so could shed light into your existence and, you know, the origins of the Tamori, as well as providing us the upper hand with which to take out Nagaria and her friends.
If it is a conjuration spell, then by right it is yours, so...
A wide smile breaks across his face as you say that. Quite so.
Do you suspect this spell will be under guard?
I do not know what to expect. And so, I have entrusted this sacred mission of recovering this Nethermancy scroll to my most trusted Tamori. Glaive, I know that you will not fail me on this endeavour. And, to assist you, should you find yourself waylaid or inconvenienced by the mortal trappings of Balgard, you shall be accompanied by, and he looks back over his shoulder as Spindle finishes getting off the floor and wipes the last of his tears off his eyes, and you hear him go, I'm just so overwhelmed. He's so cool, and I don't... Yes, you will be accompanied by the Mage Spindle, who will make sure that you as a Tamori remain healthy and nice and well attended to, and that you all the bits of you continue to function as they're supposed to.
He's like my squire.
Yes, he is your squire, and so he will, anything that you need of him, he will do for you, or he'll have me to answer to. And then you will also be accompanied by his focus, and she will ensure that, you know, the basic living conditions are covered for you: food, drink, sleeping arrangements, all of that sort of stuff. Oh, I almost forgot. And he starts rooting through his pockets. How much gold is Glaive going to be starting the campaign with?
25.
He reaches into one of the pockets on his robes and produces a object made of gold that can be worn on your person.
Ooh.
What is this gold object?
I think it is a bracelet, almost like a kind of like it's got like two. It's not like a complete ring. It's almost like the I forget the word for it, or it's got like two ends to it, kind of thing.
The little like kind of like Celtic style.
That kind of. There's definitely a word for it that I can't remember.
We can research that
head,
post episode and find that out.
I think definitely that kind of thing, and I think kind of engraved onto like the top of it is the mark of conjuration.
Wonderful. He takes this out of a pocket in his daft little silk gown and just takes your hand and puts it into your hand and closes your fingers around it. keep this on your person.
Thank you.
This should account for any expenses and any payments you should need to make whilst in the town of Greyhaze. I wish that we could just have free rooms and free lodging there, but as it is neutral territory and the rostrum does not own it, you'll likely have to... This is why I like you. Yet, exactly. As we do not own it yet, Glaive, you will unfortunately have to make your own arrangements in terms of lodgings with your retinue.
Okay. Am I expected to have any involvement with the post-war talks, or should I simply make my way immediately to find this scroll?
The other archmages and mages do not know about the Nethermancy scroll. It is essential that if anyone learns of this, particularly if they are another wizard or a mage or what have you, that you kill them immediately.
Of course.
They are not to know about the scroll's existence.
I understand.
At all. It is essential to our survival going forward. And the victory of the Rostrum Wars. But you are being sent under the pretense of being a representative of myself. So you will be expected to attend the peace talks. Don't worry about them. They'll hash it out. Just whatever they say, just nod and go, the wizard approves.
Of course, I do not.
Just nodding, oh yes, how good the war is ending, all that kind of bullshit. We don't care. What I care about is the Nethermancy scroll. Yes.
Okay.
So, go to Greyhaze. Pretend to be a little diplomat for me. Nod and smile. And in secret, just like that. Yes, just like that. And in secret, get the Nethermancy scroll and return it to me.
I understand.
And then, and he literally points out the window, Lagaria will come for her. And we'll be the last wizards standing in Balgard. Or, so help me God. So help me.
I will not let you down.
No. I'm sure he won't. And he wafts a hand through the projected map to his side, grabs the stone disc and puts that into your hand as well. Just so you can keep your bearings in the town.
Thank you.
Jail, Devils Don't Exist is a podcast licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 4.0 international license. You've been listening to Molly Little as Glaive, Quinn Riley Rowe as St. Nephilim, and Sam Pay as all the devils that don't exist. Please like, share, and subscribe. For more content and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and BlueSky under @jailpod and @jailpod.bluesky.social. That is @jailpod, spelled GAOLPOD. Thank you for listening.